All right, everyone. It's good to be back with you here on the Chiropractic Podcast. It's going to be an interesting episode that you're going to want to tune into. A lot of times we have various chiropractic, we cover everything chiropractic philosophy, chiropractic business, chiropractic marketing, everything that has to do with a chiropractic practice and thriving in practice. We try to cover that. Well, today's episode, I've got a very special guest in the studio with me, and his name is not Doctor, but his name is Jake Press with Press Purpose AI. And I have known Jake here for a while. He's really impacted some of my businesses, and I just foresee that he's going to be a great asset to the chiropractic profession and what he brings and his ideas, and he's just in love with what chiropractors do. His wife is a health practitioner, natural health practitioner herself, so he's really in tune to what we do as chiropractors, and he wants to accelerate chiropractic practices across this country, and he's doing so. So I wanted to bring him on the show, and let's talk. I mean, we've only got 30, 40 minutes, something like that, so there's only so deep that we can get to, but I think it's going to be intriguing for you to see how he can impact the intake of business, new business, create marketing, and I know chiropractors, you're always looking for help with marketing, cost-effective marketing, and yet not only is it cost-effective, but it's actually produces. We all know how much money we can blow through with what's out there, what the offerings are out there, how much money you can blow through and not necessarily get the production out of it. And then also how he can impact recalls, how we can get past patients back in. Those were three areas that I knew before we even got on the show that I wanted to make sure we had a chance to talk to him about. But let me just first of all introduce everyone. This is Jake Press with Press Purpose AI. Jake, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. So excited to be here. First, I just want to say I'm excited to talk about chiropractic because chiropractic has changed my life over the number of years, even things that you may not even know, Tom. Chiropractic there was a point where I was having a hard time walking, and chiropractic helped me to walk. I had things where I had car accidents, and I had sciatic, and I had all kinds of pains in my body, and chiropractic, is such a valuable practice because it helps align the body, which I love, and it gave me my ability to have my life back. And when we look at when I love what I do with AI in business, and now with this opportunity to tell you how AI can help you with your chiropractic office. I love the fact of what you guys do because it's from a holistic, all-natural approach, getting that information to the people to help align them right to what it is that you do and your purpose, which is what you're designed to do with your business. Is amazing. And then how can we use AI to help accelerate that? Like, it's called AI instead of artificial intelligence, it's accelerated intelligence. How can we leverage that and make that connection? And so we do it by just understanding what's happening in the day-to-day practice, right? So patients are calling in. If you're busy or your staff is busy, they're answering, but maybe they can't get to the call. Maybe it's lunchtime or maybe it's after hours. And so they typically leave a voicemail, and then the next day they would make the phone call to call back and try to get a hold of them. And maybe there's some challenges getting a hold of them. Well, what if there's a solution, right, to this pain point where you don't have to worry about missing calls anymore. You don't have to worry about missing potentially booked appointments, which is revenue, which is profitability, right? And so we look at that, we say incoming calls. As part of Press Purpose AI, we develop voice AI agents that save you, the time, the money, and the resources by ensuring that not only when someone's calling into your practice, they understand the confines of your practice, what you're about, the services that you offer, what makes your practice unique, making sure that it stays on brand. It also supports the person on the call, who's the caller, to make them sure that they feel comfortable and that your practice is the solution for them. And most importantly, getting that booked appointment so that you're not missing that revenue potential and that revenue growth and the success of your business. So that's definitely one we do. We also have the outbound agents as well. And the outbound agents are, think about in the sense of reactivation, patients that maybe haven't come, through the doors in a while, and you want to let them know that you're there. You've got some new things or new services or maybe new offers that you're making available, and so you want to reactivate them back into the door, and ensure that they're again leveraging chiropractic in their life, so they're having that maintenance, so they don't have to have that whole uh-oh moment, but they're having that lifestyle maintenance, and that's where chiropractic and lifestyle work so well together. So yeah, I'm passionate to talk about chiropractic because it's been so passionate. It's been so important to me. So thank you for that, Tom. I would love to just demonstrate as an example. We talk about AI and what AI could do. All of you listening as a chiropractors go, okay, we've some of you maybe have dabbled into AI. Some of you might be studying more on AI. Some of you might have just heard of it, but really haven't used it in your practice so much. Maybe outside of a chat GPT and just kind of helping you with, maybe figuring out some messaging for marketing. Well, let me tell you, AI is revolutionizing businesses, revolutionizing industries, and chiropractic is no
different.
No different. Thank you. No different. Chiropractic leveraging AI can just accentuate what it is that you offer in your businesses, and do so within touching the various different areas, across the business. As an aligned member, for instance, and all the things that you're learning and being taught, using specific protocols, using things to, ensure that you're, following the right steps to success for your business. We want to make sure that, AI aligns with that, and is customized specifically for your business to achieve the goal.
Mm-hmm. When like I said, Jake and I have known each other for a while, and the impacts that he's made in my various businesses, it aligns. I love that word, right? It's great. It aligns with what we do, right? This is the Chiropractic Podcast. Not everybody's an aligned member, but you have to understand that my understanding, what I know, is that any business doesn't have to be chiropractic, but chiropractic is a business, and if you don't treat it like a business, don't worry, you won't be in business for long. And every business boils down to number one is efficiency. I mean, I have analyzed thousands and thousands and thousands of practices over the years, and it doesn't matter if they've been in practice 35 years, doesn't matter if they're doing $1 million a year or if they're doing, $1,500 a month. Doesn't matter if they've been in practice 3 weeks. If they're in practice, there's typically going to be inefficiencies within the four walls of their office. And if you address those inefficiencies and you become more efficient, you have a chance at least to be more proficient. In other words, when you're more efficient, you have a chance of affecting the quality of your work. The next thing that will happen is you're going to start affecting your productivity. When those three things are either affected in a negative way or in a positive way, it will ultimately affect your profitability. So what Jake just said is, as an aligned member, those that are aligned members, that your system is your foundation. You can't outgrow your system. And if you don't have a system that's going to give you a very predictable result and do it in an efficient, proficient manner, you're going to end up frustrated, or even if you're not frustrated, you're going to cap your potential. Now, back to why we have Jake on here. You combine a system like Aligned, And then you move over here and start understanding and utilizing a guy like Jake. And he has a great background. We haven't even given you a chance to tell you that amazing background that you have and what you bring. I'd like to take a few minutes for you to just share. I mean, like some of the apps that you have designed is just amazing. The fact that it's crazy that I'm sitting here at the table with the guy that have done some of the apps that I'm familiar with. But you combine that efficient system and you bring in the AI components to what he just said, right? We're not talking about replacing your staff, but you're making your staff more effective. You're giving your staff a chance, instead of doing these menial tasks, handling the intake or the uptake of volume of patients that are in the office at the time that they're face-to-face interacting with. Some of these components that do affect your bottom line, such as marketing. Everybody thinks they need more new patients, so marketing is going to be popular. They're going to want to hear about that, Jake. But recalls, do you really have a recall process, a recall procedure? There's a large percentage of you that are listening today that don't. Okay, so first of all, that's foolish. All right, so first and foremost, you should have a recall process program being handled by your staff. And then now the fact that, you know, in this day and age, you have the opportunity to utilize AI to take that stress off the staff, but still execute a structured recall process. It's not just a random recall. And then also things like appointment reminders. You know, an AI appointment reminder is different than what maybe your Chiro software is going to throw out there. It can give you a different result with that. And then text messages, and it just goes on and on and on and on. But why don't we just take 2 minutes, if you can, and just say, who is Jake Press, and you know, why is it such a blessing to have you on the show talking about chiropractic and impacting chiropractic?
Well, thank you. It's a blessing to be here and to be able to, it's a blessing to be here to be able to communicate and share this with chiropractors that are looking for ways to, you know, excel their business, they've got the success foundations, or if they're Align members, they've got the success foundations. If they're, you know, other businesses, chiropractic offices, and they're going and they're growing, but they're saying, what is AI going to do for my business? And I love what you just said. You talked about, and I'll get to my background in a moment here, but I love what you just said when you said about AI replacing. There's a lot of buzz about, what's AI going to replace? Is it going to replace my staff? The objective of AI is to aid and support and really help to accelerate that growth. Take things that you've been spending a lot of time on. We talk about efficiency. You said that bound down to the foundation of efficiency. Take the things you've been spending a lot of time on, and AI shrinks that time to accomplish the same outcome or better, right? And then what can you do with that time? You can focus more on patient care. You've got more patients in the door. Your retention rate, you're keeping the patients. The patients are happy. The same patients are coming back through the door through the plan, as well as being able to, you know, focus on the overall business. You know, we've talked about it even in just, you know, in our last, you know, chat, Tom, talking about you're either in the business or you're working on the business. Working on the business is setting yourself up for future success. Working in the business is trading your time for dollars, right? And so what's nice about what AI does is it helps you to take that time for dollars, and it just amplifies it and multiplies it so you can go do what you do. And like we like to say with Press Purpose AI, you know, let us focus on what matters most in your business so you can focus on what you do best, right? And that's the key. And so you hear about AI and you say, well, I love my staff. I don't want to replace my staff. Great, you're not replacing your staff. Your staff's going to love this because now they're not having to follow up with some of, you know, all these voicemails that they now have to follow up with and then try to get a hold of somebody to try to get a booked appointment. you're getting more revenue in the door. You can do more with your business. Now your staff is doing other areas of that, working on other areas of the business that might be, getting left behind because of all the time spent on other inefficient tasks.
Yeah. And you just, it seems like we just went straight to back and forth here. Inefficiency. That's a big assumption for me and you both. When I said there's a strong possibility that they're not doing recalls. Now, this whole podcast is not about recalls,
Yep.
but why would you not be doing recalls on a consistent basis? Because your staff doesn't have the time. If you're running an inefficient system, then the staff may be stressed in other areas, and you're never going to outgrow a stress point. Can't be done. None of us breathing air can outgrow stress points. And this could be a stress point. You're missing major influx of production, bottom line figures by not having the right recall process in place. But if your staff is running around like chickens with their head cut off, right, and they don't even have time to think about doing recalls, you're not replacing the staff. You're just making this portion of the practice run more efficiently. And then we still have to work on the fact of, well, why is your staff working so inefficiently in those areas? So it gives you the capabilities to manage something with or without the human resource aspect.
Yep.
Fair enough?
Fair enough. And so coming from my background as a tech founder, of different software product, different SaaS companies, I've launched and sold companies. I've worked as an agency producing, amazing applications that I've had the privilege of producing, like the Jesus Calling app for Thomas Nelson, HarperCollins, Christian Publishing, as well as other types of, applications that have just been new and noteworthy, and just a lot of really awesome things that I've been able to be privileged to be a part of. And as we see technology changes over time, we see, well, wait, where are we today? AI. Where are we tomorrow? AI. It's going to just continue to grow. It's the worst. It's amazing today, but it's the worst it's ever going to be. But it's amazing today, right? And what I'm going to show you today, which I'm very excited about, is something that I put together here to demonstrate the power of AI. So you're not just hearing it and saying, oh yeah, I hear about AI. I'm now trying to connect the dots of what it can do for my practice. But what if we were actually to show you right now an example of what it would be like for someone to call your practice, and if you had an AI agent, what does that look like? Right? Mm-hmm. I could tell you all day what it would look like, but for you to experience it is a whole nother thing.
And you're ready to do that right here live on the show?
That's absolutely. I would love the opportunity.
Well,
so
let's go.
Okay.
This is a surprise, folks.
Okay.
What
awesome.
you got?
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and call this AI agent as if I were calling a chiropractic office.
Thank you for calling Wellness Chiropractic. This is Riley, your scheduling assistant. How may I help you today?
Hey, Riley, this is Jake. I want to know more about the services.
Hi, Jake. Nice to meet you. Before we dive into the details, can I get your phone number in case we get disconnected?
Sure. 678-755-8084.
Thanks, Jake. Are you looking to learn about any specific services, or would you like a general overview of what Dr. Jones offers?
Well, I'm having some lower back problems right now. It feels like sciatica might be coming back, and I want to know, can Dr. Jones help me with that?
That's something we can absolutely help with at Wellness Chiropractic. Dr. Jones offers spinal adjustments, compression, and natural care specifically for issues like back pain and sciatica. Is the sciatica something you've dealt with before, or is it a new concern?
It's a new concern. I mean, I've dealt with it before, like long term over the last several years, but it's really starting to, irritate me again. I'm feeling that pressure.
I'm sorry to hear you're dealing with that discomfort again, Jake. Sciatica can definitely be frustrating, but it's something Dr. Jones specializes in. He focuses on relieving pressure and in improving mobility to help you feel better long term. Would you like to schedule an appointment to address this, or are you just gathering info for now?
I'd like to book an appointment. What's his availability?
Great. Let's get you taken care of. Do you have any preferred days or times for your visit?
What is his availability on Tuesday?
Dr. Jones typically has openings on Tuesdays, and his team will follow up shortly to confirm the exact times available. Do you prefer mornings, afternoons, or evenings?
Okay, I prefer mornings. I'm just going to go ahead and close it off. Thank you so much, Riley. Appreciate that. So as an example there, right, from an empathy standpoint, speaking directly to me, he connected with the fact that, yes, it is painful. And yes, Dr. Jones can help me with my problem. Find a need and fill a need, right? The problem is I need someone to help me right now, because when you're in pain, you want that assistance. You need that help. So he was able to speak to it, speak to what the type of services are that can help me, giving me the confidence to know that Dr. Jones is the one for me, right? In this example, Dr. Jones, by the way, is just an example demo for that, for you guys, the chiropractors here, to hear exactly how that could be implemented in your practice. And not only would he have someone follow up on that, all of that transcription, all that information, all of that gets captured into a back-end system for you to be able to have access to. Plus, you see that as a booked appointment. So we can integrate with the calendar. So not only is he asking me Tuesday, saying Tuesday at 3:00 is available, would you like me to book that? He gets my email address, and you have a booking on your calendar. And it could be any time of the night, any call. You don't have to worry about catching that call, because the voice AI agent can help you and support your business. So just wanted to show that to you. Thought it was be a fun way to actually demonstrate AI in real life.
Mm-hmm. And then that could be programmed for recall, just making the call.
Absolutely.
Not taking the call. It would be an outbound of doing recalls, and just with empathy, checking up on them. It's been a while, how is that particular condition, all those components. And, there's nothing that this isn't going to be able to do, right? So
absolutely. Inbound, outbound. If it's for lead generation, someone wants to fill out a form, the outbound agent could call them within 20 to 30 seconds and say, hey, we saw that you filled out a form over at, Wellness Chiropractic. Wanted to follow up with you, see if we can help answer some questions or book an appointment. I mean, that would, or someone from your staff can go into their email, where typically that would be emailed, and then they could see who filled out that form, and then they could then follow up with them and call them and try to get a hold of them, right? So they just filled out the form. 26 seconds later, they get a phone call. It's like, whoa, wait, that's really innovative, and so that's using innovation, and people are going to be, excited about that and really feel like, whoa, this practice is this practice is
really on the ball
with the times. For sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there would also be opportunities for like text messaging, right? Mm-hmm. Like they take the AI inbound call, there's immediately texting with probably a voice text that could be produced.
You can text it.
Because a lot of people, I mean, like me, you call me, look, I spend my time in front of a microphone, a camera, standing up in front of groups, audio, doing speeches and all that stuff. The last thing I'm going to do is answer a phone call. I mean, I really got to know who you are before I'm going to answer, but I will definitely respond to a text very quickly. So if I got a voice text, the odds of me connecting with that and then responding is pretty good.
Send text messages. Text messages can include booking links. It can also do Google AI reviews. Let's say you have some really great reviews, but you can't get back to them, or there's a review that someone had a different experience, and you want to make sure you reply to that, right? To get really good with the Google AI reviews, or good with Google reviews. We can leverage AI to go and respond to those comments that you can't get to. Again, that's efficiency. Using AI to strengthen the time for you to do the tasks that you normally have spent a lot of time to do to improve your business.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. I know we've only got so much time on the show, and
Awesome.
I know there's going to be a lot of interest in this, a lot of interest in your service. I know that, so we'll make sure everyone knows how to get a hold of this guy. But just let's do a spin on just marketing in general, because we spent time on intake, outbound call. It's where we've talked the most. But how about AI generated marketing, whether it be your capabilities of producing video? I know that's a big thing right now. Every chiropractor thinks they have to be their own marketer. And look, what you really need to get down to is be the best chiropractor you can be. I heard you say it one time, if you're an 8 and you're an 8 on a chiropractor, but you're a 2 from a marketer as a marketing, the key is not to be an 8, learn to be an 8 marketer. The key is a 2 hires an 8. And when you're an 8 chiropractor, you should be working on being a 10. I know I'm probably stealing that from you, Jake. I've heard you say that before.
Came from John Maxwell, but absolutely, making 8s 10s and taking 2s and hires 8s, and you're exactly right.
Yeah.
When we focus on what we're great at, we can bring other people that are great at things, or AI that's great at certain things, which gives us that efficiency to do great
So
things.
AI could produce, like for example, TikTok. TikTok type marketing videos, and then it integrates with a guy like yourself that's actually running the marketing campaigns if needed, or connecting with the marketing agency, like we've had before. Daniel Carroll's somebody I'm big supporter of on the marketing side. You're producing the content with AI-driven content, tying that in with the right marketing budget and campaign. So, and now you got 2 experts integrating those 2 together, and you're not having to think about it anymore.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
And I can't tell you how often I get chiropractors tell a guy like me all the time, I just need more new patients. I need more new patients. Well, we're streamlining this this is about as getting streamlined as it can, and it's taking that burden, that stress off of you. It's not costing a lot in perspective. And then I'm always the guy that says, well, in most cases, most chiropractors across this country, you don't really need more new patients. If you would just learn how to keep what you've already got coming through the door, you will double your practice. If you move nothing and learned, and you got to get with a system like Aligned to move these numbers. But if you moved your PVAs, your CVAs, that's patient visit average, talking language maybe Jake doesn't know, but patient visit average, collection visit average, your reset plus, your reset minus, your maintenance schedule, you move those numbers, you move the whole practice. But especially it starts with PVA. Move PVA, you move the whole practice, because the higher the PVA is, the more likely that you're going to get more referrals, and that feeds the machine. Now, take that all into account. Everybody thinks they need new patients, and Jake, how does AI how can AI impact their marketing strategies and capabilities with relative ease?
Several things. One, obviously, working with a marketing professional, they're going to have like the overall vision for campaigns that align with the brand, which is important. But it's also important, as you're leveraging AI can help make those plans, again, more efficient, but they can help make those plans possible. Even and give more creative ideas. So how can I, if I'm doing a specific online promotion, and I want to specifically target a certain demographic or a certain target market that is dealing with a certain ailment, what have you. Well, AI can help you create stories around how that can be marketed. And then those stories can be used to create images using tools like the new Chat GPT's newest version, or using PicLumen, or using Midjourney, or using other types of services that can take the story and now turn it into a prompt, and then take the prompt and turn it into an image. And then we say, okay, well, but I want to create a video for TikTok. Well, they can take the image and then use various different tools out there, like Kling Kling.ai is one of them. VO, VO2 is another option as well. So there's options with Google. There's options with just a variety of different tools that you can use to turn that image into a video. Now I want to turn it into a 7-second or 10-second, TikTok video. Well, great. 7-second and 10-second, TikTok videos can get some pretty high engagement because it's quick, bite size, accessibility. It's scroll worthy. Or they see it, they interact with it, and then they scroll, and then they see it, they interact with it, and they love it, they like it, they comment on it, and then they scroll and move on to the next thing. And so it's repetition. It's getting your brand out there. And if you're focusing on a lot of larger content, my suggestion is chunk that content up into smaller little pieces that get you out there more, where people are listening to you, seeing you multiple times, and you can use AI to do that. There's various different clip services out there that can take a larger video and break it out into 5 different videos with captions. There's a service out there called Captions that you can use, CapCut. So there's a lot of different services that you can use for marketing that can help you get videos out there where you're not having to think about all the marketing campaign stuff you got to do and push out there. You can create these videos, work with marketing companies to schedule that, put those into ads, whatever it is. You can be such a supporter with your marketing team and help to empower them with more content, where you're not replacing the marketing team. You're just giving them more of what they need to make it more successful for you, for your growth. That's what I like to say.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm sure the producer is probably giving us the evil eye at this point, and telling us to wrap things up. But the fact of all this is, if you don't have someone like Jake on your team, just take a moment and think of how this can hit your bottom line. Mm-hmm. Right? I always, I like to talk about efficiency a lot, and time is the one commodity that we only get to exchange one time. You can buy and sell a gold coin an infinite number of times. If you can find a buyer and seller, but you only get to exchange time once. So how you're using your time each and every day in your practice and in your other various ventures is a critical piece. And AI allows you to capture and bring under the umbrella of effectiveness within your practice over and over and over and over. So time, as I've said, do you know that if you could learn from a guy like myself, if we could learn, first of all, we got to have the patient base, we got to retain the patient base, but if we could learn how to see one more patient visit an hour, just one more an hour, ask yourself, do I think I could see one more an hour? Do you know one more an hour equals over $10,000 a month in the average chiropractic office? Just one more one more patient visit an hour. Now start playing the idea of what would happen if an AI agent was working for me and actually doing recall systems for me. And now all of a sudden I've got 1-2 former patients recalled back under care. What happens if there's an AI agent capturing more intakes of the money that I'm spending on Google and all my marketing efforts, and I'm capturing just one more a month? What would happen if one more new patient, and then if you had a guy like me that taught you how to keep and retain that patient, but just one more a month, that's 12 a year. What's that? What's the average care plan? An average care plan, maybe some people don't like the term care plan, but average treatment, what's a patient worth to the office? You ought to know your numbers. You got to know your stats. Well, let's say at worst it's $2,500. or 2,000. Let's say 2,000. That's easy. All right, 12 a year times 2,000. That's $24,000 a year with little to no effort. So a guy like Jake is somebody that you want to have on your team. If you're not taking a hold of this technology, and guess what? It ain't going away. I love that quote you said a while ago. It said, AI is the best it is today, but it's also the worst it will ever be, right? So it's only going to continue to improve. The idea of taking that in control and utilizing it makes it a no-brainer. And always remember, folks, you're either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. So get with the times and get a hold of this guy. So Jake, I've really enjoyed.
Thank you.
I always enjoy having
Yeah.
you when we get a chance to.
Thank you, Tom.
To connect. But if they want to get a hold of you, it's Jake Press, Press Purpose AI.
Yep.
How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, go to presspurpose.ai, click on the book appointment to find a time slot that works best for you. And we would love to have a discovery call and learn how, what are some of your goals? What are some of the key needs that you have? And how can we leverage AI to help you and create that efficiency, save time, money, and resources, and grow your business? We would love that. So, yeah. Thank you.
One little thing I love about Jake is Jake takes it personally, and he knows his clients, so it's customizable.
Absolutely.
It's not like and those are chiropractors know what I'm talking about. These package deals where you spend this much money and it's all just this cookie cutter nonsense that doesn't work for a long term. Jake's going to get to know you, what sets you apart, how do we set you apart within your own market? So
absolutely, yes, 100% personalized specifically for your practice. And just like you said about knowing your numbers, if they're getting 16 calls a day, let's say, or more, 83 calls a week, 333 calls a month, look at the multiple of that. How much are you actually saving when you talk about those calls? And if a voice AI agent could take those calls, we're talking a significant double-digit multiple ROI on that. But we would definitely talk to you about that plan and how that would work for your practice. So thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, folks, another great episode of the Chiropractic Podcast. We do this for chiropractic. We have a love for chiropractic. I have a passion for chiropractors, and that's the reason I line up for this and do this show anytime I'm asked to do so. So I take it as an honor to be a part of it. I appreciate you, and we'll look forward to talking to you on the next episode. God bless.